Todd Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393. Also, Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Another jam-packed bunch of stuff to talk about today. Wow. This is great. I guess Joe Biden already has a robot at Disney now.
Oh, nice.
So that's great. This is in the Hall of Presidents.
Yeah. And they all say something like inspirational?
I think so.
That's good.
And so no doubt Joe does as well.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. One of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap.
Look at that.
You, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors.
Oh, boy.
Not a joke.
Not a joke. That's not a joke.
The presidency of the United States is a role unique in the world. An office entrusted to each president by us.
And they zoom in on Trump.
People. Therein lies the genius of that new idea, now over 200 years old.
Oh, that's good stuff right there. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, me too. We missed playing the Trump robot when he debuted.
Mm-hmm.
So that's unfortunate, but they nailed Joe Biden and one of his inspirational speeches on Corn Pop. That's great. Good.
I love your audience. They send some great stuff our way.
Yeah, that's awesome. We also missed him stumbling all over himself. This video last week focused on Biden snapping at the reporter. Or he calls her a pain in the neck, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But leading up to that, listen to all of this babbling.
Thank you, folks. Whoa. Hang on a second. If you want to talk about Iraq, ask me a question about Iraq.
How many troops would you like to see in Iraq by the end of this year? And how does the relationship changes, considering this is the last
Pause it for a second.
dialogue?
It's fascinating to me because he just looks like he has dementia.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
You look at him now, and he's got that glazed look all the time. Like,
yeah, where am I?
The lights are on, but nobody's home. In fact, the lights have dimmed to the point where they're almost not even on.
And she's asking, how many troops would you like to see in Iraq by the end of the year? And I'm with you now. I'm thinking, he's sitting there thinking, it's not going to be my problem because I'm not going to be here at the end of the year.
Right.
Boy, but you're right. That look on his face
it's amazing. He
terrifying.
Walks like he's 1,000 years old. He looks like he's lost, like he has dementia, and he sounds like it. Let's see the rest of this.
That you have with Iraq at the Prime Minister.
This most recent dialogue you had. Well, we've been talking a lot. Our foreign ministers, our cabinet members have been talking. We're looking forward to seeing an election in October. We're working very hard with the Iraqi government to make sure the UN and the GCC we have oversight that these are full and fair elections. I've been in contact with Khatami. Anyway, I think things are going well. Our role in Iraq.
Anyway, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Dealing with.
Here it comes again. Look at this.
It's just to be available, to continue to train, to assist, to help.
Wow.
And to deal with ISIS.
Look at him struggle.
As it arrives. But,
he cannot.
We're not going to be by the end of the year in a combat.
Keep a train of thought.
Yeah.
Going down the tracks. All right.
He's squinting.
Then yes.
You are such a pain in the neck when I
then
answer your
this
question.
part.
We've known each other for so long. It has nothing to do with Iraq.
Jeez.
The answer. No.
All right. I just think it's incredible. I mean, he's sitting there with another world leader, Iraq. Basically, we're their leaders, but sitting there with another head of state, and he can't get through it. He has no idea what he's talking about. Anyway, wow, and he does that all the time as a reset, I guess, for his brain maybe I can get back on track, or I'm going to change the subject now because I'm really bored with what I was just saying. Or I've said way too much on that topic now. Let's change the subject. You know, that kind of thing. And it's not working for him. It's just not working. Boy. Well, except for CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, except New York Times. You know,
working for them.
Working for them. They're fine with it. They don't see any problem here. Supposedly they don't. I don't know if they don't watch his news conferences. I don't know if they don't watch any clips of him, or they just don't care.
But
they just don't care.
The Biden-Harris team is in such a pickle, really, because
she's hated.
Right, and so you can't put her out front because then you diminish Joe even more, and you're putting someone as the face of the administration in Harris that no one likes.
Yep.
And what do you do? What do you do?
They got a problem. And so do we.
So does the nation.
Yeah. That's the problem. We have the real problem because that's supposedly our leader. Wink, wink. So you wonder who's really pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Barack Obama.
Could be Barack Obama.
Who, by the way, he's scaling down his birthday bash.
Is he from 600
to...
disinvited
me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, cut it down.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Wow. Sorry about that.
I didn't make the cut.
Jeez.
Hurts.
It's too bad. So now there's 599, or were you the 601st?
Right, yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I think
he doesn't want a super spreader event. He can't have everybody come.
Isn't it down to 400 now? What is it?
Did he cut it that lean? Is it that lean? A party where there's only 400 people?
Let's see. So it was going to be 700 originally.
And he scaled back.
Yeah, I don't know what it's down to now. I just know I got the call yesterday and I didn't care for that.
Because I'm sure you were looking forward to that.
I have a gift and everything.
Yeah, wow. Wow. That's a real shame. Earmuffs?
Yeah. Because he's got the big ears.
Yeah.
And
you get earmuffs big enough for those ears?
I got custom made for Barack Obama. Now I don't know what to do with them.
Remember when mentioning his ears was racist? Remember that? You couldn't... Well, that is racist! Why? Do only black people have big ears? Don't think so. You ever seen that guy in the NFL Network?
I was just thinking of him.
What's his name?
Oh, gosh. If it were football season, I would know.
Yeah. I really like him.
Me too.
He's fun, but he's got these ears that stick out like Dumbo the elephant.
Andrew Siciliano.
Yeah, Siciliano.
Yes. All I typed in was Sunday ticket ears, and that's what came up.
He's pasty white.
Yeah.
He's Casper white. So don't tell me that's racist.
Yeah, he's really good, though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. I love the NFL Network.
But I think that's what they use his ears for, is actually to pull in all the games that he's talking about during Sunday.
I mean, I would have done some. I think I would have had surgery to pin him back. You can't do that. I think I would have pinned him back because I'm going to be on TV every day. I don't want my Dumbo ears out there. So, but apparently he doesn't care.
No, I love him.
Yeah, he's great. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Things continue to go really, really well in Australia. They've got this whole thing down. They got a social distancing tracker now. They got social distance cameras.
Yeah, they're
up in Australia
right now. They're just seeing how they work and seeing if we're going to implement them.
Okay.
This is not good.
So. Ooh, sorry, that was the
what are you doing, dude? What are you up to over there?
Just inconceivable that I would use that. But here's a look at what's going on there.
Griffith University researchers creating a computer program that can be linked up to security cameras. It identifies human shapes, monitoring how close together they are. Privacy was paramount in this week-long trial, so no one was identified. People are represented as dots on a screen. Their IDs are not recorded.
So
Green means social distancing is being adhered to. Red is a breach. So not only can businesses see when there are breaches, they can also identify spaces within venues where rule breaking takes place, where more signage or physical barriers are needed.
They can start looking at possibility of rearranging the areas or putting different furnitures and different things like that, so that it will be possible for them to manage the space a bit better.
Researchers say this technology could have real-world applications, not just at airports, but at shopping centres and other high-density public spaces.
Spices.
just going to separate us. I mean, they're already doing it politically and racially and through class, but now we're going to keep doing this physical separation too forever.
And again, let's not forget, this is in a country where from the start of the pandemic, they have lost 924 people to the COVID-19 pandemic. 924 in a nation of 25 million people. It's ridiculous, their response to this thing. Wow. You would think smallpox or Ebola is ravaging that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and remember, this is a society that they took the guns long ago from.
Oh, yeah.
So if it ever gets...
Late 90s.
By the way, I see how you fudged the numbers a little bit there with your 924.
Uh-huh.
It's actually up to 927, Pat.
Oh, my gosh.
For the last
numbers don't lie!
year and a half, we have 927.
In a year and a half.
Yeah.
Although I will say, this week, 3 people have died in Australia from COVID-19 because it did start the week at 924. And now it's 927. 3 more people have died in Australia.
You better lock that place down.
In a country of just 25 million.
Just make it a penal colony again.
That's almost everybody. Mm-hmm. That's almost everybody. So...
Scary times.
Wow.
Western society is falling apart right before our very eyes. Every day, something else.
Right before our eyes. You said it, Keith. You said a mouthful. Probably aware of that because you just said it.
Right before our ears.
Yeah, right.
Too, our big ears.
Crazy. Our Siciliano ears.
He's 6'6". Did you notice that?
No.
I had no idea.
Siciliano's 6'6"?
Yeah, I was just...
I don't think I've ever seen him standing up.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah, he's always behind a desk or sitting at a chair at a table or something.
Well, sometimes he goes up to that board, but it's hard to get a perception on TV, you know.
When he's alone, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, things going the other way a little bit. In Canada right now...
Boy, it's exciting.
This man in Alberta is fighting back. He was fined $1,200. What was he fined $1,200 for?
Yeah, I think he was
just mask wearing. Or?
No, I think it was just protesting or something. Like it's an unlawful gathering, something stupid like that. So he ended up in court, and he explained what happened there because it turned out really, really well for Alberta,
which is amazing.
Freedom
Check this
has
out.
won in Alberta, proving that fighting does work. Joining us now is Patrick King, a devoted father of 2, a proud Canadian. You were fined $1,200 for violating the COVID-19 Public Health Act for being in a group larger than 10.
I waited for my time in court. My material that I requested was the isolation of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and I wanted it isolated and not in a lab setting or in a PCR test, because we know the PCR tests, they're overspun. The judge has to advocate for me and steer me in the right direction, at which time she allowed me to subpoena Dina Hinshaw, who is our chief medical officer of health for Alberta, who basically what my defense was to be was I needed proof that you have isolated this SARS-CoV-2 virus, and that therefore the science would give you the backing for your public health act.
Which in plain and simple terms means prove to me that a pandemic exists.
100%. As soon as I subpoenaed her, I got an officer shows up at my door 3 days later. And he says, well, I'm just here to tell you that your court case has been canceled. I was like, this can't happen. I ended up calling the courthouse, got it rescheduled. The next thing I know, I'm being subpoenaed by Dina Hinshaw's lawyers. You cannot service somebody a subpoena less than 24 hours before court. Got the subpoena. We went into court. I called procedural violation 100%. They said, yes, it's a procedural violation. I said, okay, Your Honor, well, let's adjourn it to Wednesday. Dina Hinshaw's lawyer spoke up and she said, well, Your Honor, Mr. King is requesting evidence that we cannot give. The chief medical officer of health has no material evidence to provide Mr. King for his defense, which basically means everything that I requested, the isolation of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, that needs to be 100% isolated in order to base your scientific facts on these public health acts. You don't have material evidence for this. And they said, no. The chief medical officer of health of Alberta, Ms. Dina Hinshaw, and AHS and the Alberta provincial government do not have the material evidence I request for the isolation of SARS-CoV-2. Stenographer and a clerk just went like this.
They must have looked at the judge like, what, are we supposed to type this? Do you really want this on the record?
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That guy is smarter than he looks. I'll tell you that right now. First of all, he knows law, apparently. And he's got some knowledge of science. Who would do that? Who would bother with that?
Yeah, that guy is responsible for freedom in Alberta today.
That is crazy.
So great.
He represented himself, and he won. Mm-hmm. They couldn't isolate the virus, the COV-2 virus
This is
kind
of like
how's that possible?
Asking for your accuser in the traffic camera to come to court.
Right.
Let's have the camera testify against me. Oh, you can't? Guess we're done here.
Yeah, which we wanted people to try to test many, many times. And I think, wasn't there a lawyer in Houston that did that several times? Seems like there was.
Now, I did go down and challenge I literally got a traffic cam ticket like 2 days before they started doing this in the legislature. Yeah. And I went down. I was presented with the video evidence that...
and that shut you down?
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't think we ever talked about that follow-up on that.
Yeah. When they show you the proof of it.
Oh, it was good. It was a good time. Yeah.
But what they did with the traffic cameras was make it so that, they get money from it, and they do this a lot. Like it's $50, doesn't go on your record. Just pay it and avoid all the hassle. And so that's what people did. They just paid it and avoided the hassle because it wasn't egregious. But it was wrong. Because the traffic camera can't. Well, it kind of did in your case, I guess. It did testify against you.
Of course, the guy who showed it to me I don't know what he's doing for a job now, because in Texas, those are now
gone.
No longer. Yeah, but so Alberta, there's no mandates now. There's no restrictions.
That is incredible.
My understanding is that everything has been lifted there, all of the mandates and stuff, because of this guy.
That is incredible.
It's pretty awesome.
So, does the pastor get out of jail and all of that stuff? Because isn't he in Alberta?
Yes,
remember that?
Yes.
We should see if he's out of jail.
I will.
All right. Let me tell you about Patriot Mobile. Not so long ago, companies solely existed to provide products and services, and make a profit. Customers spent money in return for a product or service. Almost overnight, everything changed. Many corporations have become vessels for anti-American and anti-family propaganda. Few companies have had the courage to stand up for America, for Christian values, and for our Constitution. But one of the first, and one of the few, is Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile has the broadest nationwide coverage and uses the same towers as all the major carriers. So you get the same great service. Plus, they have plans to fit any budget. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team has the highest rating, too, among wireless carriers. More importantly, Patriot Mobile shares your values, and they support organizations fighting for religious freedom, for the Constitution, for sanctity of life, veterans, and first responders. Go to patriotmobile.com/Pat, or you can call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation with the offer code PAT. They also have special discounts for veterans and first responders. Don't support the left-wing cell phone companies anymore. And unless it's Patriot Mobile, that's who you're with. Support a company that loves America, loves you, and shares traditional family values. It's patriotmobile.com/Pat. patriotmobile.com/Pat or 972-PATRIOT.
Pat Gray is unleashed.
Okay, so Pastor Archer Pawlowski there, his trial has been delayed, but or his sentencing has been delayed, but his brother was found guilty of flouting the rules. But this was last week. Oh, this is before Mr. King did his thing. So we'll see how this plays out. But they were seeking 21 days in jail for them as punishment. So we'll see what happens now that this has happened.
Then there was the other guy, Archer.
Yeah, so that's who the sentencing is delayed for. His brother has already been found guilty.
Wow.
So David,
unbelievable. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean it truly is. But I would love to see if all of these cases in Alberta now get revisited because of what Mr. King just did.
Yeah, hope so. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. There's a scientific journal paper that's just been written by Professor Peter Hotez. He's a frequent guest on the media networks. He has called to extend federal hate crime protections for scientists facing criticism from alleged far-right extremists, including, so he's trying to protect Anthony Fauci from being criticized anymore. And if you criticize Anthony Fauci, you could be charged with a hate crime. That's what he's advocating anyway.
Okay, wait. Are we going to do this for all the scientists who are speaking out against the vaccine and are getting deplatformed and having their licenses threatened?
No.
So we're not going to do it for them?
No. Don't be silly.
Can we extend it to people who are unvaccinated and being kept out of businesses, particularly in New York City at this point?
No, we can't. That's ridiculous, Keith. Ridiculous.
Okay. Sorry. So this is just a Fauci hate crime bill?
Yes.
Okay.
He himself has been funded by Anthony Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. So that's interesting. He said there's a troubling new expansion of anti-science aggression in the United States. It's arising from far-right extremism. Wow. I mean, the rhetoric against anybody who has any differing opinion from the prevailing viewpoint of this administration and their scientists it's really frightening. A band of ultra-conservative members of the U.S. Congress and other public officials with far-right leanings are waging organized and seemingly well-coordinated attacks against prominent U.S. biological scientists. In parallel, conservative news outlets repeatedly and purposefully promote disinformation designed to portray key American scientists as enemies. And so they could be charged with hate crimes. He drew the comparison to the intentions of the Trump administration and its America First allies to those of Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Joseph Stalin, Marxists, and Leninists. Wow. Jeez. They've got it exactly flipped. It is they who are acting like all of these dictators. It is they who are the fascists. And it is they who are trying to silence anybody who has a differing point of view. Really amazing.
Don't turn around, Benito. Right.
Who was it that said that?
That was the guy at the school board. What was the line again he used? I don't know. Corby's.
Watch out, Benito, something like that.
Don't go looking around, Benito.
Thank you.
Because Benito started looking around to his council members, and he was looking for some support, I think. Don't go looking around, Benito. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, boy, this is a dangerous time.
Oh, my gosh.
Every day you sit there and you read the news and you think, wow, this is, congratulations, America. This day is crazier than yesterday.
Yes. And just when you think it can't get any crazier, it does. And it's pretty much every day. Every stinking day. I mean, it's, people are losing their jobs. They're being essentially cut off from society. They don't want us going. If you're not vaccinated, you can't go to a restaurant in New York. You can't go to a play in New York. You can't go to Times Square. You can't go to a baseball game, basketball game, football game. None of these things will you be able to do unless you have your passport, your vaccine passport. You think that's going to be limited only to New York? No, that's going to spread all over the place.
No, and we hear from members of this audience every day through social media. Yep, I got to make a decision. Yep, my wife's got to make a decision. Yep.
Yeah.
We've got until September 1st or what have you. You've got the Secretary of Defense is going to announce mandatory vaccination for our military coming up here.
Which is despicable.
It's
unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. Okay, you're going to make it even more difficult on the military? Who's going to want to sign up for that? We got some issues here.
We got some issues.
That's
our title today. We got some issues here, America.
Also, I mean, people are getting kicked out of rock bands. The drummer of The Offspring.
God.
Remember them? I'm trying to think of what the song was back in the mid-90s.
It was gotta keep them separated.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that them?
Separated now. Yeah. Wow, he looks too young to have been. Is that him? Was he with him? That's obviously him, but was he with him in the 90s? I don't know. Anyway, he's been booted from the band because he won't get the COVID-19 vaccine. He's got some medical concerns.
So he's pretty fly for a white guy, but not fly enough to stay in the band.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Pete Parada announced the news in a lengthy Monday Instagram post where he made clear he harbored no ill feeling. Wow, I would. Toward his bandmates, I'd harbor some ill will.
Yeah.
But he said the risks of getting the jab for him far outweigh the benefits. Since I'm unable to comply with what is increasingly becoming an industry mandate, it has recently been decided that I am unsafe to be around in the studio and on tour. Okay. Are the rest of the band members vaccinated? If you are, then what are you worried about?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be immune now, right? You're supposed to be in the clear. It wasn't clear through his statement if Parada's departure is permanent, but he noted he will not perform in the band's upcoming shows. He said throughout his childhood, he's suffered with several rounds of Guillain-Barré syndrome and does not want to risk triggering another bout with the vaccine.
Understandable.
Totally.
Yeah.
While remaining cordial with the band, he did rail against vaccine mandates.
Mm-hmm.
I do not find it ethical or wise to allow those with the most power, government, corporations, organizations, employers, to dictate medical procedures to those with least power. There are countless folks like me for whom these shots carry a greater risk than the virus. Exactly.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now, I'm sure this analogy won't sit well with others, but who among us doesn't see where this is headed? Where the vaccinated in this country, so many of them, the government leading the way, are stoking fear that, oh my gosh, the unvaccinated, the great unwashed, these people, we have got to get them in line or separate ourselves from them. I'm sorry, but I made the analogy last night on Twitter that if you'll recall FDR saying the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And where did that end up leading us to? Japanese Americans in internment camps during World War II. You don't think that they're going to end up separating us like that, the unvaccinated? They're absolutely, that is the road we are on. And if you want to see America's future, I hate to say this, but look at what's happening in South Africa right now. That country is out of control. And they had as somebody well stated a few weeks ago, that is a country being governed by critical race theory. Ta-da! Here we are. And that's what you get.
Here we are.
But somebody else pointed out, hey, if the vaccines are fading away, right? If they're not doing their job like they anticipated originally, then at what point are we all not just unvaccinated? It's like they become the unvaccinated eventually, right? They just want to keep jabbing you, man.
They sure do.
Over and over.
They sure do. Yeah, this is the one.
Nice.
This is him drumming right there.
Oh,
pretty soon he's going to say keep it separated now, right?
You got to keep them separated.
Yeah. Come Out and Play was the name of that.
Oh, wait, you're going to stop it? I wanted to get
well,
my
otherwise we'll be taken down today. I'll go ahead and do the tambourine.
Okay,
thing.
cool.
Little Offspring. No.
Yeah, we're totally going to get flagged today.
Yeah, we are. Oh, well. 888-900-3393.
Good songs. They had a couple good songs there.
Yeah, they did. They had that in the Fly for Pretty Fly.
For a white guy.
For a white guy. Good stuff. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Got some tweets here. Rusty Shackelford tweets, the robot version of Biden is more coherent than the actual version. Oh, by far. Yeah, by far. I am blessed tweets, surprised Disney's Hall of Presidents didn't have the robot presidents wearing masks. Don't give them any ideas.
No kidding.
Also, from RK Freeman 77, wait until you need a vaccine ID number to log onto your social media accounts.
So true.
Definitely happened. Remember the guy, the gym bro, The guy outside the gym.
In Canada, right?
Yeah, in Canada, who's making predictions, and they were all pretty accurate. Back in 2020, he's got some more predictions that seem to be coming true about the vaccine.
Gosh, listen to this.
Saw the exact same. A lot of people saw it. There was a UN document. This is common knowledge. And it basically outlined the lockdowns, and they just gave it to each country and allowed each country to tweak it for their own people, to make it more palpable for their people, and to give the impression that it wasn't an international document disseminated to all countries to make it people think that every country made up their own rules. No. The 5 levels of lockdown were in there. In a place like Ireland, they went level 1 to 5. In a place like Canada, where we like colors, now we got green to gray. It's still 5 levels of lockdown. All the 5 levels are identical. They used Australia as the model for the 5th level of lockdown, where you can't leave your house, you can't go can't literally do anything. And that's what they really want to do here. Well, I heard about the mandatory quarantine hotels, and I knew right away it's a complete violation of our rights. And the only reason they're doing it is because they want to convince you to accept the vaccine passport. I want to stress that. Everything that they're doing, closing your business, closing your gym, forcing you to wear a mask, all the stuff they're doing is to try to convince you that it's a good idea for you to go along with this idea of a vaccine passport so they can vaccinate you multiple times a year, every year, and then use that as an excuse to prevent you from travel, work, congregating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you think it's a conspiracy theory, they already have it in place in Israel, and they've already made it quite clear that if you don't get vaccinated, you're going to be relegated to small shops and grocery stores, and you're basically shunned from the rest of society. And that's what they want. They want a complete medical tyranny on you. Once you give in to medical tyranny and you do not have bodily autonomy, and they can literally forcibly inject you with whatever they want as a pretense for you to live your life, are you free? Absolutely not. That's the most invasive violation of our rights thus far. And that's why they waited an entire year of demoralizing you and destroying your life and making you as hopeless as possible, so you will not just accept it, you will beg for it. That's what they're doing. They're doing psychological warfare on you to weaken you to the point where you will not only accept defeat, you will accept perpetual defeat for the rest of your life.
That's brilliant. That seems like exactly what's going on, doesn't it? I mean, they showed us how bad it can be last year with all the lockdowns, ruining our economy, forcing people out of their jobs. And now they're dangling the carrot that, hey, if you want life to get back to normal, just let us put this in your body. Just put this in your body. It's no big deal. In fact, you're essentially a killer if you don't do it. And that's why we can't allow you to live your life normally if you don't do it, because we can't allow you to be going out and killing people. Yeah. So
you got to keep us separated.
Jeez, man. That's amazing.
This is not good.
Yeah. 888-900-3393. People aren't going to take him seriously, though. They're going to say, who's this gym rat that's trying to tell us about UN conspiracies? Well, look around, especially in Canada. I mean, they have clamped down a lot harder even than we have in the United States. Between Canada and Australia, I mean, they're acting like absolute fascists.
Yeah, we are living someone's plan for our lives.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's nothing but theater to the elites, because they keep telling us that we must do this and we must do that and we must have masks, and they pretend as though they wear masks, but when we catch them in their usual habitat, we find they're not so much on the mask thing. For instance, AOC was at a protest yesterday, a demonstration. And so then they all got together. They're demonstrating over the moratorium on evictions. And so they don't want anybody to be evicted, I guess, ever again.
Yeah,
you have a right to a home.
Right. And Joe Biden saying, look, it's probably illegal, but
yeah, let's do it anyway.
Courts will figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. We'll just keep doing it. So the CDC is mandating that you can't evict anybody. The CDC has control over my rental property? I think we should revisit that if that's accurate. So anyway, they're at this demonstration, and somebody calls for a photograph. And check this out.
Let's take a quick photo so we can keep the pressure up so other colleagues can come out.
Okay,
here.
no
Yeah?
mask.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
You see AOC there.
This your New York
She's going to.
She's literally in the middle of the crowd without a mask on.
Up, she just pulled the mask out of her pocket.
Time for a picture. Okay.
And I'm going to put it on right now for the photo because I'm doing political theater right now. And here's more hypocrisy from me. That's great. So they take the picture. Mm-hmm.
Housing is a human right on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Housing is a human right. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, they got their photo. Yay! Yay!
Okay, we can take the mask off now.
And she's about to remove it.
We good?
Huh?
We good? All the cameras off?
1 minute later.
Okay.
1 minute, and it's gone. Okay.
She's back to her. Oh, boy.
Completely gone. Yeah. It's all political theater.
Whatever, you know, and like, or whatever,
right.
like.
Or whatever. Okay. So, there you go.
They are laughing at us. Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Mm-hmm. Then you got families like this in Florida. CNN ran a story on a family who want the mask mandate in school.
Yeah.
Dear
Here they are.
Superintendent, Dr. Green, and school board members, I would like to encourage the requirement of masks at school in Duval County.
In a letter to school leaders, Lila Hartley explains what worries her. She's 12 years old, about to be in 7th grade in Duval County, vaccinated. But her little brother, 10-year-old Will, isn't old enough to get the vaccine.
Oh, no.
I'm so worried that if masks are not required, my brother could go to school one day and the next be dying in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
At school, I wear 2 masks because I want to make sure I don't get sick.
Their father,
That
Matt
doesn't make
Hartley,
sure you're
wants
not gonna get
Duval County Public Schools to mandate masks.
Oh,
I care about your kid as much as I care about
Pause it for a
my
second.
kid, and I don't
This
want
is the family I saw yesterday during the show.
What are they playing, Monopoly or something? Sitting around the kitchen table, playing a board game. All of them are masked up in their home. Okay. All right. That is just
Wait a minute.
asinine.
Was that the Hartley family? Is that who that was?
I don't know.
On our clip, do we know? Because they're back on CNN again this morning. Yeah, Duval County. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is.
CNN is going to make this family like the poster child of mask mandate. No one says the Hartley family can't force their kids to wear masks to school.
No,
stop. Leave my kids alone.
If you want to wear your mask, wear your mask. If you want to wear your 2 masks, like the kid said, wear them. Go ahead. It's asinine, but do it. I don't care.
Or hey, Hartley family, homeschool. Leave your kid, or find a school, a private school that forces masks. This is the tyranny of the minority right there.
Yes, it is.
That's exactly what this is.
Sure
and that's
is.
just what's happening in this country right now.
Wow. Let's see the rest of this report. Unbelievable.
any
This is unbelievable.
kid to risk being hospitalized or getting long COVID symptoms
It doesn't
or
happen,
just being a
dude.
part of
Stop
our
it.
community spread.
Mandating masks, however, would defy an executive order signed by Governor Ron DeSantis banning schools from forcing students to wear masks.
All those in favor?
After hearing from dozens of parents, the Duval County Public School Board voted to change its code of conduct for students late last night.
Any student not wearing a mask pursuant to this policy must, through his or her or their parent or guardian, complete the opt-out procedures.
Moms for Liberty, a nationwide group whose local chapter of Duval County Mothers Against Mask Mandates, believe requiring masks in school is government overreach. Mother of 2, Keisha King, will not be sending her daughter to school with masks.
The best and most fair thing to do is to give parents the option of whether they want their children to wear a mask or not.
Right. Why don't you bash
the
her?
American Academy of
Since she's a
Pediatrics and
minority.
the CDC say is
You notice they
best
didn't.
universal indoor masking
That's
at
great.
schools, in part to protect unvaccinated students and stop the spread of COVID-19.
masks not only prevent me from passing it to you.
No, they don't.
There also is
They don't
you not
prevent
giving
it,
to me.
however. I'm
Vaccinated
sorry.
people do have the possibility of
it's just a
transmitting
lie.
the virus
That's
even
a
though
lie.
they're not sick. It's layers
Mask
of coverage.
And layers of comfort and security for students like Lila Hartley and her little brother, both well aware of the fiery debate surrounding the masks they're advocating for in the upcoming school year.
I can't
just days away.
You gonna puke yet?
It's okay to have your own opinions. It's like
Okay.
you can think what you want to think.
Oh, thank
but
you.
also, these masks have proven that they are saving people.
No, they have
masks
not
are important, so we can continue to enjoy in-person
So the 12-year-old
school
is letting
and
us
not have to hurt
have an
families
opinion.
and staff,
We're
which is
following the
terrible
12-year-old
virus.
science
Right.
there.
Sincerely,
The
Lila
12-year-old
Hartley,
science
student at Landon
states,
Middle.
okay, I can't take it.
So
Turn it off.
You can have your opinion, Pat, but you can't do anything about it.
Right. I can have my opinion, but I must follow hers, the 12-year-old, because she knows the science that masks has been proven to be saving lives. completely untrue. Now, if you're wearing a gas mask, maybe. If you're wearing an N95 nonstop all the time, that will help. But that doesn't, you're not going to be 100% safe in an N95 either.
Somewhere there is a family in New York City that has common sense that would love to live in Florida. Maybe they could exchange residence with the Hartleys who could move up there.
Yeah, that's what they ought to do. Just trade places with some New York family, and then you'll have all the tyranny you can handle. Be great. Wow.
Sad.
All right, let me tell you about iTarget Pro. You know, with the cost of ammo going through the roof, wow. A lot of us are looking for a cost-effective, safe, and simple way to practice with our firearms. Well, iTarget Pro was invented to give law-abiding gun owners a better way to train in the safety and privacy of their own home. No more inconvenient trips to the range or expensive practice ammunition, if you can even find it. Again, ammo's hard to even find. It's off the shelves just as fast as it comes off the truck. So just download iTarget's proprietary app, then you load the laser bullet into your firearm, then you start training. And the laser bullet shows you where on the target your shots land. It's really fun, and it makes it safe, of course, to practice right in your own home and with your kids. Dry fire training, it will also help you develop muscle memory and sharpen target reaction speed, your sight alignment, trigger function, all kinds of things. iTarget Pro comes in all the major calibers, including .223 for the AR, so you can stay sharp with virtually any firearm. Go to itargetpro.com and save 10%, plus get free shipping when you use the offer code PAT. Smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in one day. That's the letter I, then targetpro.com. itargetpro.com, offer code PAT.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Yep, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And CNN's running all of it. So insane.
These masks have been proven to save lives.
I guess we're all supposed to fall in line with this 12-year-old girl who's giving us BS information on mask wearing.
When does that family take their masks off, honestly?
I don't know. They had them off on the CNN report this morning.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
I don't know if they were outside. Maybe they were outside and they realized maybe outside their home they could take it off. I don't know.
Maybe. If the wind is blowing opposite direction of the cameraman.
Right. But they weren't social distanced from each other, so I don't know what's going on. They're trying to kill each other.
Hypocrites.
Right?
I mean, 24 hours ago, we did a story where you guys were sitting around the family table all with masks on, and now you're sitting right next to each other,
right, well,
breathing the same air. Naked face.
Just completely naked-faced. Despicable. Why are you trying to kill, first of all, the CNN reporter, the CNN camera person, your daughter, or the daughter trying to kill the father?
Hell's probably coming through the TV into this room right now.
Probably.
That's probably what's happening.
Yep.
I tell you, the amount of mental damage that we are doing to this generation of children.
It's a lot.
Through masks and mandates, lockdowns, just insanity, and parents like that. Never mind that. Yeah, Pat, I'm scared.
Yeah. Well, be afraid. Be very afraid. You know who's taking a stand, though, is Ron DeSantis. He had a little message for Joe Biden yesterday. I think you might like this.
I think the question is we can either have a free society or we can have a biomedical security state. And I can tell you, Florida, we're a free state. People are going to be free to choose to make their own decisions about themselves, about their families, about their kids' education, and about putting food on the table. And Joe Biden suggests that if you don't do lockdown policies, then you should, quote, get out of the way. But let me tell you this. If you're coming after the rights of parents in Florida, I'm standing in your way. I'm not going to let you get away with it.
Nice. Good.
If you're trying to deny kids a proper in-person education, I'm going to stand in your way, and I'm going to stand up for the kids in Florida. If you're trying to restrict people, impose mandates, if you're trying to ruin their jobs and their livelihoods and their small business, if you are trying to lock people down, I am standing in your way.
Yes!
And I'm standing for the people of Florida. So why don't you do your job? Why don't you get this border secure? And until you do that, I don't want to hear a blip about COVID from you.
Nice. That's great.
Ron DeSantis, 2024.
He's got some giblets. That is fantastic.
I mean, that's the message that Americans are feeling right there. That was perfectly articulated by Ron DeSantis.
So great. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Welcome. Great to have you with us. Got some tweets here. Our first from Caffeinated Texan involving the Offspring drummer. We were just talking about the Offspring drummer and actually played a little bit of the Offspring's Come Out and Play. So probably get flagged today.
Yeah.
Anyway, Caffeinated Texan tweets, I'm glad the drummer has held on to his self-esteem. So if we're going to get flagged today, we might as well go all the way.
Oh.
You know, we might as well just go for it.
Yes.
It's Offspring all day. Right here on Pat Gray Unleashed, everybody. Good morning and welcome. I'll request lunch hour coming up in just a few hours. Like 5, actually, but got something to look forward to.
Good stuff, man. I'd forgotten.
Yeah, they don't really make it like that anymore.
I might have to revisit Offspring.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Because we've come up with three
really good songs. Yes, really good. So, anyway, there you go, YouTube. Enjoy flagging us all day long.
It was worth it.
Al Gore's artificial insanity. Jab junkies are finding out that their beloved vaccine isn't a 100% guarantee they won't get COVID, so now they're pissed, and they've doubled down on lashing out.
I believe that 100%.
Me too.
Yep.
Yep. Jeffy's Meat Sweats. The unvaccinated will be sent off to internment camps on what the Democrats will call the Trump trains. And they'll giggle, thinking they're such good people while doing it. You know what? We're not that far off. No. We're not that far removed from this.
No. And
you were just talking about people posting.
A lot of people have been posting the 10 stages of genocide.
Where are we? 9.5?
Yeah, we're at 9.5. Let's see. So this isn't the list I was looking for, but I'm sure it's the very same one. Classification. So I think you might actually want to get into depth on this as opposed to have me just hit the highlights on this.
Definitely look into that.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Because don't think it can't happen. People think, well, come on, that's ridiculous. This is America. Is it? Is it anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, though, of the 10 stages, we are halfway there.
I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised at all. Extra White tweets, my employer gave us a choice. Get vaxxed or wear a mask all day, or go to work somewhere else. Too old to go to work somewhere else, too poor to quit, I caved. Yeah, I understand that. And that's completely understandable to me. I'm not going to condemn you for that. We won't judge. Because you're going to have to do what you have to do, right? I mean, people can't afford to lose their jobs. There's a lot, I will say this, there's a lot of jobs available. I don't know if they're in your price range, your salary requirement range, but people can't even stay open all day like they used to because they can't find enough employees to do that. I don't know how many. Every restaurant we went to while I was on vacation a couple of weeks ago through the Midwest, all of them. And we went to restaurants a lot because we're on vacation and you're not cooking at home. So every single one of them had an employee crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them.
Yep. They get the sign that says, please bear with us, because those that did show up to work, blah, blah, blah.
We were in a small town in Illinois, and so there's a limited number of decent restaurants to begin with. One of them was open. One. All the others were shut down, and it wasn't because they were afraid of COVID or COVID-19 restrictions.
Wow.
It was because they couldn't get employees to staff the place. Unbelievable. It's crazy. It's crazy. Joe's 6-second delay tweets, New York City Mayor de Blasio has found COVID-19 so dire that he's instituting mandatory vaccine cards, yet it goes into effect a month from now. 66% of blacks are not vaccinated and won't be able to shop anywhere next month. Jim Crow?
Wow.
Anybody?
There it is. Yeah.
Interesting.
And
that's a really good point.
It's so fascinating how so many of these dictates, if they were a public health crisis, why wouldn't they be midnight tonight? You got till midnight, and then we're changing it. No. You got till September 13th in New York.
It's like everything else with these stupid Democrats. The climate is so bad, and we're on such a precipice of catastrophe that we're going to fly in private planes everywhere we go all over the world so we can gather to talk about how we're on the precipice of catastrophe. It's just asinine. They don't make any sense. They're hypocrites and liars.
And I would say, do they think we're really this dumb? And then I remember many of the videos that we play.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, well, I guess, yes, we are collectively.
Yeah, I guess you could make the point that, in some cases we are. Another little battle yesterday with Peter Doocy and Jen Psaki.
Oh, good.
Great. People are coming in, and he's talking about the border. And this is a question that nobody else would ask, but the representative from Fox News.
It's been almost 4 months since the president told migrants, don't come, don't leave your town. Almost 2 months since the vice president went to Central America to say, do not come. But people are coming in record numbers. Does the president think his immigration plan is working?
Well, the president continues to convey to anyone, as you've said, who wants to come to the United States, now is not the time to come. It is not the time to come and try to go through irregular migration. We want to have an effective process where you can apply for asylum, where you can apply for legal status. We have increased our investment in areas like the Central American Minors Program, allowing people to apply from within country so they are not making that dangerous trip. There's more that needs to be done. We've also instituted a number of additional steps recently, including expedited removals to move people out of the country more quickly. But we're still at work on improving a process and improving a system that was very broken when we took office.
The message to migrants is the same, even though they are coming at 21-year high, 210,000 encounters at the border last month.
And I would also note the number of people who were removed from the border, which is an important part of the context, which is almost half of that number.
But he's saying don't come, and they're coming.
Well, there are a number of factors, as you all know, that are happening in these countries, and we're working to address
secure the
those
border.
as well.
That's the
and
biggest
Vice President
factor.
is leading those efforts. We don't expect that to be a switch, but addressing root causes in these countries, corruption, economic downturn, people are fleeing a range of challenges, persecution. Those are issues we need to address.
Of course, there's no personal responsibility. There's no accountability with this administration. They won't accept responsibility for anything. Everything is Donald Trump's fault, and that's why it's gotten so much worse under us. Because Donald Trump. That's their excuse every time. Meanwhile, the Biden administration just admitted that in McAllen, Texas alone, they have released 7,000 COVID-positive patients into the community this year. 7,000. Or is it this month? Including 1,500 new cases just the past week. Wow. 1,500 COVID positive illegal immigrants in the last week.
And that's just
McAllen, Texas.
And that's just what they're admitting.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Right. You know it's probably triple that.
Or even no.
Right.
I know. We're out of words.
It leaves you speechless.
We're out of words, man.
It really does.
Oh, man.
But this is Trump's fault.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it. This negates everything we say about COVID-19 because we're showing you we don't give a rat's anus about whether or not you get COVID-19. We just want these people to vote for us. So we're going to allow them to flood into the country. If you get COVID-19, that's your fault because you weren't wearing the mask. You didn't get vaccinated. You didn't follow our plan. That's not the fault of us who are releasing people who are sick into your community.
Yeah. And until yesterday, they weren't even talking about vaccinating. Remember, the great hope for America is the vaccine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as they're letting these new people into America and releasing them COVID positive, as you just pointed out, en masse, there's been no offering of the vaccine that they say is going to save us all until yesterday. Now they're going to offer it to them. Jeez. But remember now, New York City, you better have it if you want to participate in society. We're going to offer it to the immigrants we're just letting pour in.
And the Biden administration is also taking the first steps toward requiring nearly all foreign visitors to the U.S. to be vaccinated. But don't worry about it, illegals. You don't have to.
You get a choice.
These rules don't apply to you, just our citizens and citizens of other nations who are coming here legally. But not you. We're just going to let you do whatever you want. We really are, so that's great. The requirement would come as part of the administration's phased approach to easing travel restrictions. No timeline has yet been determined. Interagency working group studying how and when to safely move toward resuming normal travel. See, what they're doing, they're too busy allowing illegals to pour across the border and then releasing them into our communities to deal with the foreigners who are coming here legally. These people are despicable, and they're going to be the death of us if we allow it.
Yeah, and the reason they're offering the Johnson & Johnson single dose is because they move them through so quickly that they're not around for the second dose. I mean, that's what they're saying. They're like, we better just do the single dose.
Yeah, they're not even
one and done.
For tens of thousands of them, they're not even bothering to set up a court date for them to come back and be heard. They're not even bothering with it. So the thing is, we don't even know how bad this problem is.
Right.
The numbers we're getting, as you kind of brought up, is going to be so much less than what reality is.
It is amazing what they choose to govern and choose to ignore.
Yeah, it is.
And then what they govern is actually just tyranny. My goodness.
But the rhetoric is really nice. The percentage attributing blame to certain people or groups being ratcheted up like crazy. They are really starting the blame game against the unvaccinated, against Donald Trump, against anybody who voted for Donald Trump. The conservative media like Fox, they're blaming everybody they possibly can but the people they see in the mirror. The percentage of attributing blame to each group when asked which of the following people or groups, if any, do you blame for the rising COVID-19 cases and the spread of the new variants in the U.S.? Okay? The unvaccinated, I blame the unvaccinated. The vaccinated people blame the unvaccinated, 78.6%.
Wow.
For Donald Trump, 35.7%. Conservative media, 33.4%. Foreign travelers, 29.7%. Americans traveling internationally, 25.3%. They didn't even give them an option of illegal aliens pouring across the border.
Is that foreign travelers in the U.S.?
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Yeah, Joe Biden comes down there at 11.5%. How about Joe Biden's border policy? I'd like to point that out as an option.
Right.
But what you just read there and how the rhetoric is working against the unvaccinated. Oh, you're the guys. You're the reason COVID-19 is spreading. That plays in nicely for the 10 stages of genocide we talked about.
Yes.
You'll see that on the list.
Number 1, classification. People are divided into us and them. Vaccinated, unvaccinated. Conservative, not. Trump supporter, Trump haters. Symbolization. People are forced to identify themselves. How do you identify? That is one of the biggest things we're hearing right now, is how people identify. So we can symbolize you.
Yeah, well,
discrimination. People begin to face systemic discrimination.
Right, that symbolization is the same with the NFL players wearing the bands in practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dehumanization. People equated with animals, vermin, or diseases. That's happened. Organization. The government creates special groups, police, military, to enforce their policies. Polarization. The government broadcasts propaganda to turn the populace against the group. I think that's going on.
That's exactly what's happening.
So that's 6 that we're all set with.
Oh, boy.
Preparation. Official action to remove and relocate people begins. I don't think we're there yet.
So we're between 6 and 7.
6 and 7 right now.
Okay. So
then the next step after preparation, persecution, beginning of murders, theft of property, trial massacres. Number 9 is extermination. Wholesale elimination of the group. It is extermination and not murder because the people are not considered human. Wow, that's interesting. And denial. The government then denies it's committed any crime.
Yeah.
Wow. A little bit chilling there, isn't it?
Very chilling, especially when you, instead of, until the last couple of years, you would see this chart and you would think of terrible acts in history, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're looking at this chart like, wait, where are we? Mm-hmm. In America, we're between 6 and 7 here?
Same thing happens when you go over the communist goals.
Right.
Were entered into the congressional record in 1963. We've done them all.
Pretty much,
literally done them all.
Yeah.
888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Got some tweets here from Americana Heart Suit. I fiercely object to medical tyranny. Simple message there.
Yeah. It's amazing how overnight Americans have suddenly just become okay with segregation in this country.
Yeah. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. Is there a number people can call, Ivan? Or is there a phone number?
I would say the White House switchboard, but that's not going to do you any good.
No, it isn't. Pig Roast Mick tweets, mothers against mask mandates. It's ma'am.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
From Kaboom. Nobody is stopping that little whiner, the little girl who was lecturing us and stuff on masks. That little whiner and her bratty little beta family from wearing masks. Just leave the rest of us alone.
That's literally all we're asking. Leave us alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to wear your mask, if you're in love with the mask, wear it.
And marry it if you'd like.
Thank you.
If you're in love with it,
go ahead and marry it.
Sure.
We don't mind. Who are we? Love is love. Am I right?
Am
I right?
And they live in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, crazier things have happened there.
Sure.
People marrying masks.
We are doomed, tweets. They again exploit children on the news to tell us to give up our guns, our cars, and shut down businesses. If you engage in political debate on their mindless parroting of propaganda, you are blasted as evil. Don't dare question the 6-year-old. Exactly. Or the 16-year-old Greta Van Valkenburg or whatever her stupid name is. Rants Out Loud tweets, speaking of Greta, COVID Greta will eventually condemn Ron DeSantis in front of the UN. Probably. By the way, we're just talking about the 10 stages of genocide. I don't know. That was a completely unrelated deal.
Non sequitur.
Right. I don't even know why that came up. But we'll post that on Twitter at Pat Unleashed if you want to check that out. It's interesting. It's fascinating.
And tell your family and friends where to hear Pat Unleashed on Blaze TV.
Yes, please. And then subscribe and rate the show 5 stars. And then it'll show up for other people. And then you'll have commonality. You'll have things to talk to people about.
And I would say go to youtube.com/Pat Gray today and share today's episode with your friends.
We'll see if they allow it on YouTube today because there might be a few issues with them. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right. 888-900-3393. Tonight, NFL preseason begins.
That's right.
The first game. I think it's Cowboys-Steelers. Is that what it is?
It is. Hall of Fame game.
Can you believe it's here? I remember lamenting last year on how long it was going to be until the season. Well, now it's a year later. And we've been lamenting the same thing, but here we are. It's back. Man, time just goes by so fast.
Yeah.
But anyway, kind of psyched about Thursday night football back. And this time, it's pissed.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're going to do our NFL picks.
When are we doing that? Have we decided yet?
I don't know. I sent the email out yesterday.
So we got the picks to do, and we also have more on trivia coming back shortly.
Yeah, so the NFL season
officially starts
Thursday, September 9th. So we'll probably have Stu and Jeffy in here that day and do our picks. And then Friday the 10th would be our first more on trivia.
Love it.
Okay. And it's going to be Eagles-Falcons to start the year and have Stu back in here, butt heads with me. So it'll be fun.
Fantastic. You got to see this, too. Speaking of sports, we still have a few days left of the Olympics. I think it ends Sunday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And we're ahead in the medals race, but we're a little behind China in the race for gold medals. I think they have 5 or 6 more than we do. But we have 9 or 10 more medals overall. And, think of how amazing that is when you consider China is at 1.5 billion and we have 330 million. So
yeah, and never mind the way these communist countries train their athletes for just this purpose.
Take them from their families at 2 years old and train them in sports facilities for the rest of their lives. Yeah, it's a different situation. But anyway, there were some weightlifters who had just completed their competition. 3 of them sitting there at a press conference, just talking things over with the press. And then an interesting question came up from among them.
Oh.
It was a historic night here with Laurel Hubbard competing as the first openly transgender in a individual event. And I was wondering, what you felt about that and what you felt that it took place in your sport.
Nice sound effect. Wow.
No, thank you.
Very diplomatic, but you could see that and hear that they don't want to touch that because they don't like what's going on. Obviously, they hate it. They think it's unfair, but if they say it, they're going to be bludgeoned to death. Mm-hmm. So they say nothing.
You know what they do? They go out on the competition there and they defeat her.
And fortunately, that did happen.
Exactly.
It did happen. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's do that one more time and count the seconds.
Okay, yeah, let's do
dead silence.
It was a historic night here with Laurel Hubbard competing as the first openly
The lady on the
transgender
right
in a,
just keeps drinking water. Please leave me alone. And then eventually she says, talk.
What you felt about that and what you felt that it took place in your sport.
5, 4, 6, 7, 8.
No, thank you.
9 seconds. 8 or 9 seconds later. No, thank you. No, thanks. We're not getting into that. There couldn't have been a better response than no, thank you. It's so great. Because who can beat him over the head with that? Nobody. That was a great response. Brilliant. Speaking of brilliance, I'm not sure. Oh, they're at the BBC, right? This is Boris Johnson at the BBC. With
I don't know. Somebody tweeted this out this morning. I don't know what's happening here.
This is very strange.
He's arriving at the BBC or something?
Yeah, and somebody hands an interesting object to his, I don't know if it's a bodyguard or an aide or whatever.
Here's a gift for you, sir.
No, here. Oh, okay. I'll give it to Boris. Boris.
What's this?
Hey. It's a big.
What's this?
Pink balloon
of sorts,
phallic symbol or something.
He's like, oh, thank you. What's that? Oh.
So they realized it just got punked, and then somebody finally took it away from him. Oh, man.
That's funny.
What a world. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Welcome. Great to have you with us. Got some tweets here from Pew Pew One Pew. Democrat rules. If you live in America and contribute to society, you'll be forced to be part of the experiment. But if you come illegally through the southern border, you're offered the experimental jab. Yeah, that sounds fair. Well, like everything else with illegal aliens, they're not subject to the same rules as U.S. citizens. They have their own separate rules and they're all a lot more lax. For instance, the Biden administration just cleared the way for them to fly whenever and wherever they want without ID. Can we do that?
I'm sorry.
No.
Again, what now?
Yeah, without ID, if you're an illegal alien, you can still board a U.S. aircraft. So those rules don't apply to you. Neither do any of the other rules of society, frankly. It's amazing.
Your information today is making it hard to remain
I know.
close to sane.
I know. Proud Mr. Graybeard tweets, so did you notice a misdirection of Psaki? She said they were expediting removal of illegals from the border, but she didn't say where they were removed to.
Your neighborhood.
Uh-huh. Lumbee IT department. I love this administration constantly blaming the previous administration for their immigration mess. The immigrants literally state that they're coming because Biden was elected. Pathetic. Yeah, and many of them have said that. They've been interviewed by reporters, and they've admitted it. They're coming because Biden said it's okay. Mm-hmm. Then Jen Psaki was challenged on a pretty tender issue at the White House. With all this stuff going on about Mario Cuomo.
Andrew.
I mean, yes, Mario's gone. We lost him. But Andrew Cuomo and his sexual harassment situation, now they're dragging, this one reporter actually brought it full circle back to Joe Biden because he's been accused by several people of inappropriate touching. And of course, one person accused him of sexually assaulting her in a really, really ugly way. Not just a kiss on the cheek that was unwanted or asked for a date and that was unwanted. No, sexual assault. So Psaki was asked about that yesterday.
In a follow-up to the report on Governor Cuomo's sexual harassment, a lot of men in politics have been accused of sexual harassment. President Biden was accused by female Secret Service agents of skinny dipping in front of them, offending them, according to former Washington Post reporter Ronald Kessler, who's an author as well. His former Senate aide Tara Reid accused him of sexual assault.
Right.
The Washington Post and the New York Times have published multiple accounts of women who objected to the way President Biden touched them. Should there be an independent investigation of allegations into the president, as there was into Governor Cuomo?
Well, first I would say the president has been clear and outspoken about the importance of women being respected and having their voices heard and being allowed to tell their stories and people treating them with respect. That has long been his policy, continues to be his policy. That was heavily litigated during the campaign.
Wait,
I understand
what?
you're eager to come back to it, but I don't have anything further other than to repeat that he has called for the governor to resign.
Okay. The sexual harassment claims by women against Joe Biden has been heavily litigated? Wow.
I keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
No, it sure doesn't. If she thinks heavily litigation means what Joe Biden went through, nobody even talked about it. No one. Well, okay, talk radio talked about it. It might have been mentioned on Fox News a few times. But the mainstream media stayed completely away from any of those stories on Biden. Any of them. In fact, they attacked the accusers. Wow. Heavily litigated.
A subordinate to the guy who's about to be president of the United States claims she was digitally raped by him. And yet we have people from decades ago who make claims against people like Judge Kavanaugh. And that becomes the biggest media story, a firestorm for months.
They want to go back to it.
But we can't even give 5 minutes to Tara Reid?
You talk about heavily litigated. The Kavanaugh thing was... that was insanity. Biden got off scot-free from any accusations, and the Tara Reid accusations are really serious.
Yes.
That's an egregious, that's almost rape. That was a really ugly incident. And nobody litigated that in the mainstream media. Just such liars and hypocrites. 888-900-3393. But what do you expect in the media where they're still going pretty light on Andrew Cuomo right now with all of the claims. If you read that report that came out from the Attorney General, it's pretty convincing. 165 pages of victims and witnesses and corroboration. You didn't have any of that with Kavanaugh. Didn't have any of that with many people, but with Andrew Cuomo, there's a lot of evidence against the guy. Meanwhile, I go back to last year when the Cuomo interviews were continually happening on CNN. Do you remember Chris Cuomo saying this to him?
I hope you are able to appreciate what you did in your state and what it means for the rest of the country now, and what it will always mean to those who love and care about you the most.
So you're talking about him killing like tens of thousands of old people in nursing homes? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, we do remember that. So.
I'm wowed by what you did, and more importantly, I'm wowed by how you did it. This was very hard. I know it's not over.
Me too.
But obviously, I love you as a brother. Obviously, I'll never be objective. Obviously, I think you're the best politician in the country.
Incredible to go back in time and remember the things that were said about this guy. And remember Hollywood being so in love with him? The Hollywood celebrities that jumped on the Cuomo bandwagon last year when he was doing all those press conferences. He did 111 of them. Chelsea Handler, in a letter to Vogue titled, "Dear Andrew Cuomo, I want to be your first lady." She talked about him being a leader at a time when so many of us were desperately looking for one. She also posted a video where she declared her lust for Cuomo. "Getting ready for my boyfriend to come on TV. I'm pretty hot for Andrew Cuomo. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, could Andrew Cuomo be any hotter?" Ellen DeGeneres declared her love for Cuomo in an April episode of her show. "Can I say that I'm a Cuomo-sexual? We know that that's going around. The people are saying they're Cuomo-sexuals." You got to be kidding me. The governor replied, for his part, "Yeah, I think that's a good thing." Cher declared that she too was a Cuomo-sexual, saying, "I'm in love with Andrew Cuomo." Jada Pinkett, who is Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, revealed she had a crush on Cuomo. "My celebrity crush right now is Governor Andrew Cuomo. I don't miss a press conference. When Cuomo's on, I'm like, gotta go see my celebrity crush right now. Sorry." Okay.
I mean, they were talking about replacing Biden with Cuomo. Remember that?
Yes.
Because Biden was having some troubles, and they thought, hey, let's slip Andrew Cuomo in there.
Yes. Also in love with Cuomo from Hollywood, Ben Stiller, Robert De Niro, Rosie Perez, Spike Lee. Everybody fell in love. Well, where are you now? How do you feel about him now? How do you reconcile that with your Me Too stuff? It's just despicable. These people are just stark raving despicable. And one of them may pay the price for it pretty soon. There's a new poll about the support for Gavin Newsom, governor of California, on the clear on the other side of the nation. You've got another crappy governor, and they want him out. And the calls for recall for the recall vote are growing. And you know who's in the lead to replace him is Larry Elder.
Interesting.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would. So the poll was, would you vote to recall or to keep Governor Newsom? Vote to recall, 46%. Vote to keep, 48%. Really close. Undecided, 6%. Now, to replace him, Larry Elder leads that pack with 23% support. John Cox with 7%. Caitlyn Jenner, 7%.
Yeah, didn't she leave the country or something?
Did she?
I think she's traveling or something. It's like not even interested in campaigning.
Did she go to Tokyo maybe for the games?
I don't know.
You remember when she was in the Olympics and won the men's decathlon?
Caitlyn Jenner?
Yeah, remember that?
I don't remember a Caitlyn Jenner in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I mean, I was young.
Yeah, you were very young when that happened. That was 1976, I think. So, you were quite young.
I was very, very young. I don't remember watching Caitlyn Jenner.
I bet you don't. Yeah, but a lot of people do remember Caitlyn Jenner when she won the decathlon and she won the gold medal in that.
Caitlyn's hanging out in Australia, by the way.
Australia.
Yeah, I don't know why. It says Caitlyn Jenner's campaign is going down in flames as she hangs out in Australia. I would like to also point out that Larry Elder is saying something that I have said, and I've just never heard. I've heard talk show hosts say this. I've never heard, which he is. I've never heard a politician, which he is now, say this, that, thank you for the pop-up ad, Sacramento Bee. I'll just have to go from memory here. But basically, he says the perfect minimum wage is $0.00 per hour. Yeah, because right now, again, thank you, Sacramento Bee, for blocking it. But I guess it's between $13 to $14 an hour in California.
Yeah,
is the minimum wage. But he says, no, just let people... Let companies decide. Let the market dictate what people get paid. Exactly. Thank you, Larry.
What a crazy concept,
right?
That is. Like what? A free market system?
Okay, now.
Well, now you're just completely out of control.
You're doing crazy stuff. I don't know where you're getting.
That's mind-boggling.
I don't know where you're coming up with these phrases.
Free market principles. I don't.
Cute.
Wow, is that?
And
ridiculous.
He's up big, huh? So
he's up.
If Newsom is recalled. Larry Elder is in prime position right now. But do we know where it stands on... There's just a slight majority of Newsom being recalled right this moment, right? Or am I wrong?
No, they have all the signatures. And I'm not sure what they're waiting for to put it on the ballot. They should do
it's coming up in September.
Special election. It is for sure?
Yeah.
They're for sure
Oh, yeah.
going to
There's a
recall
date
him?
and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
But I just don't... Oh, here we go. Okay, so there it is, right there in front of us. Thank you so much, Rob.
It's 48-46. Okay. Keep him, 48. Vote to recall, 46%.
All right.
Undecided, 6. So it's really close.
You got to get over that hurdle.
Really close.
Then Larry Elder.
Be interesting. That would be interesting. I think he'd do a better job than other celebrities have, like, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who everybody said, hey, he's a Republican. This is going to be great. Arnold Schwarzenegger, that'll be great.
Republicans,
no.
They loved him so much they floated that trial balloon to see if maybe we should change the Constitution.
Yeah.
So he could run for president. What do you think?
No. I think no would be a really good answer to that.
Look at what he wasn't even good in California.
I know.
I don't want him for the nation. Ugh.
Yeah, no thank you.
If you're going to change the Constitution, at least do it for someone that's worth it.
Yeah, well, what foreigner would you change foreign-born person would you change the Constitution for?
Marquis de Lafayette.
What living person who's been born in a foreign nation? That would be a tough one. I'd have to think about that for a while.
I mean, there's a lot. That's the sad thing is, there's a lot of foreigners who love this country more than half of the people that live in this country.
No question about it.
Bono. How about Bono for president? Can I get you on board? President Paul Hewson? No? Okay.
I mean, it's close. I really like Bono. But
the only thing that came to mind there is when I said people that love America. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
So as a president, I don't know that would work.
He does love America.
But yeah. And that's a sad thing is that's where we're at just in our own country. It's just we need people that love our country. That's why we fell in love with the wrestler. Because she loves this country. Yes.
She wept about it. Do we still have that, Rob? If we still have that, let's play the shorter one, the shorter version where she talks about her love for this country because it's so unique now in this environment for somebody to just unguardedly admit that they love this country and they have patriotism, and she actually has the flag wrapped around her instead of throwing it on the floor and stomping on it or spitting on it or turning her back on it. Pretty amazing moment. Might have been the highlight of the entire Olympics.
Oh, definitely.
I surprised myself. It's by the grace of God I'm able to even move my feet. Like, I just leave it in his hands, and I pray that all the practice, that the hell that my freaking coaches put me through pays off. And every single time it does. And I get better and better. And it's so weird that there is no cap to the limit that I can do. And I'm excited to see what I have next.
Last question for you. That American flag around your shoulders looks pretty good. How does that feel to represent your country like this?
It feels amazing. I love representing the U.S. I freaking love living there. I love it. And I'm so happy I get to represent U.S.
And we love you.
So refreshing.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy that gold, and we'll see you out there on the podium, okay?
I mean, we used to hear that all the time. All the time. But now it's like, wow, that's like an oasis in the desert of patriotism. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Also, as far as the Olympics are concerned, Hawaiians want apparently a separate team from the United States.
No, see, we just played the nice thing, and then they're going to do this.
The Team Hawaiian Kingdom. Some activists want the Hawaiian athletes to split off and have their own homeland
for like just surfing, or just the whole Olympics.
I think surfing. They're trying to bring attention to what they call the whitewashing of
cute.
their sport.
Okay.
And the exploitation of their homeland. For the last 3 years of the run-up to the Olympics, sovereignty activists from the academic and surfing communities have petitioned the games to allow surfers who are Hawaiian nationals. There's no nationality of Hawaiian. It's a state. Hawaii is a state. Anyone who can trace their roots to the Hawaiian kingdom, though, before its overthrow in 1893, to compete for the Hawaiian kingdom instead of the United States. Jeez.
Yeah.
Is there any other way we can be slapped, spit on,
I will say,
where we live?
Yeah, Grover Cleveland did his best to not just keep our hands off of Hawaii, but he couldn't be president forever.
What was his thinking on that?
Well, it was just sugar plantation owners wanted to
take it over.
Yeah,
right.
And
he was opposed to that.
Yeah,
Good for him.
But like you just said, why are we always finding places to separate ourselves?
I don't know.
You know what? If you want to give like a month window, you want to say the federal government should go to every state and say, look, in August of September 2021, any state that wants to leave the union, you can do it. Okay, go. Hawaii, you can go do your thing. Texas, go do your thing.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think in the spirit of competition and stuff like that, stop trying to make everything about race.
Yeah.
And everything has to be about division now. And it's
everything is dividing us, racially, nationality-wise. We've got to be at each other's throats all the time.
Anything that we have a shared common bond now? Because it's not even the Olympics with the kneeling and the bull crap there.
Twerking during a medal ceremony. It's crazy. It's gotten to the point where just visiting Hawaii, to some of these activists, if you visit Hawaii, you're a colonizer.
Oh, nice.
You're a colonialist.
Okay.
Here's what he had to say.
The fact that people are still going to visit Hawaii, even though Native Hawaiians are requesting desperately that people stop coming, tells us that colonizers will always colonize. There are so many tourists that people who live on the island are being told to restrict their water use. There's so many cars that people are parking them and blocking highways. The mayor of Maui has even requested airlines stop bringing people to the island.
No mayor of Maui.
And before you say, tourism helps the islands, no, it doesn't. It creates a dependence on the upper class, who is all of the tourists. Trust me, there are hundreds of other things that local communities would rather be doing than serving entitled outsiders. We don't have to theorize whether colonization would happen in present day, because it is happening in present day and we're witnessing it now. We cannot let the past be repeated.
Okay, it's gotten so bad now that if you want to go on vacation to Hawaii, you're trying to colonize it. It would be fascinating to see if all tourism ended. How well would Hawaii do at that point, I wonder? I think they're sort of reliant on tourism, but now you're going to make everybody feel unwelcome. So, good luck. Good luck on the islands there. Jeez, it just never ends. Never ends.
Never.
888-900-3393. Mexico is suing American gun manufacturers because they're contributing to the illegal arms trafficking, which has been linked to many deaths, according to this article. You think? Officials say Mexico is seeking as much as $10 billion in compensation, though any amount would be decided by the court. The court has to decide. The companies have not yet commented, but they include Smith & Wesson and Barrett Firearms, among a lot of others. The lawsuit was filed Wednesday. It says the Mexican government took the action to put an end to the massive damage that the companies cause by actively facilitating the unlawful trafficking of their guns to drug cartels and other criminals in Mexico. Another example of we take no responsibility for what's going on. We're not accountable for anything happening in our own country. We don't want to clean up the corruption here. We don't want to do anything about the drug cartels murdering tens of thousands of people every year. You know what the murder situation is in Mexico?
Is it not good?
It's not good. I think you could say that. It's suboptimal.
Suboptimal,
as Stu might say. I believe it was last year there were 35,000 murders in a country that's 1/3 the size of the United States. They had more murders in a country 1/3 our size than we did. That's just outrageous. But that's the gunmen. That's Smith & Wesson's fault. That's not Mexico's fault.
Wow.
The manufacturers are conscious of the fact that their products are trafficked and used in illicit activities against the civilian population and authorities of Mexico, according to the Foreign Ministry. Mexico said the companies had used marketing strategies to promote weapons that are ever more lethal without mechanisms of security or traceability. Mexican officials said that some of the guns made by Colt appeared to target the Mexican market in particular.
What?
Yeah. A pistol engraved with the face and name of Mexican revolutionary leader Emiliano Zapata. So that's, I mean...
Like, if you see a gun with Emilio Zapata's face on it, you're like, man, I gotta go and murder people.
I gotta
now.
get that right to a drug cartel so they can go kill somebody with it.
What a strange justification.
It's strange, yeah. It is kind of strange. So all these problems with Mexico and their drug cartels and the murder rate and the crime, that's, again, it's the fault of America. All the illegals streaming across our border, that's the fault of America. That has nothing to do with the situation in Mexico being so bad and their economy so much in ruins. But that, again, that's not their fault. Damn Smith & Wesson.
I will say there was another time in American history when our government was responsible for sending guns to Mexico.
Was there? Like when? Like what, 1800s maybe?
Yeah, that's probably what it
Late
was.
1800s.
And you know, because it's a great plan. What you do is you
sell guns,
weapons, to drug cartels, and gun runners,
right?
And what you do is
because you're going to track them.
You're going to track the guns.
Track them. Yeah.
And you're going to say, it's going to take us to the bad guys.
We could call that something like, I don't know what. Name it after sort of a movie situation, like Fast and Angry. No, even worse than Angry. You're Furious.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious might be a good name for that.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.